What's good? It's your girl Chammy, and today I am doing, yes, another playthrough of Rose of Winter. Previously I did the Elgandir's caretaker route. Very cute, some interesting twists that I wasn't expecting. And I figured I'll go ahead and do some of one of the other 3 routes that's still available. Not sure which one I want to do yet. I guess I will make that split-second decision once we are on the screen in the route. So let's go ahead and do that. Grab your spindrift, your lemon limeade spindrift, and yes, another pack of fruit snacks. And let's do it. Sorry you have to sit through me narrate the beginning again, just in case you watched the other one, but what can you do? Beware, evildoers, for I am Rosemary, the Knight of Winter. Or should it be the Blade of Winter? Oh, maybe the Rose of Winter. Doesn't that sound impressive? You know, a symbol of hope bursting through the ice. That's good, right? I mean, it's not too completely embarrassing, is it? Oh well, I'll figure out a good knightly sounding title someday. My actual name is Rosemary, which isn't very knightish, and as for that Blade of Winter thing, well, I'm in a place where it's been snowing a lot, and you know, to be honest, I just think it sounds cool. Cool stuff doesn't have to make sense, right? Anyway, about a year ago, I left my family's farm to fulfill my destiny and become a knight. Sounds pretty amazing, right? I thought so too. So far, though, I've only been doing odd jobs for gold wherever I can find them. I've slain the occasional beast and rescued plenty of cats from trees. It's not exactly what I expected, but at least I'm making a living. I guess that makes me more of a mercenary than a real knight. But hey, I've got a cool suit of armor, my trusty sword, so I'm almost there. I hate to admit it, but it's harder to become a knight than I thought. I'll always keep trying, though. My travels eventually brought me to this tavern at the foot of Mount Needle. You wouldn't know from how cozy it is in here, but the mountain outside is super dangerous. Mount Needle, so named for the freezing winds that pierce your very skin, crawling with deadly beasts that hunger for human flesh. Only the bravest of the brave dare to venture here. Doesn't that sound like the perfect place for an aspiring knight to find her destiny? Oh, I'm so excited. Anyway, now that I'm here, I've got to find a job, and fast. I spent the last of my gold getting a room at this tavern. Planning ahead, isn't my strong suit. Luckily, the tavern has plenty of postings for mercenaries, knights, like me. It shouldn't be hard to find a job here. See, beyond Mount Needle lies Starlight City, one of the most beautiful and prosperous places in the world. People from all kingdoms gather there for important business. To get there, you can either travel by boat for days on end, or take the shortcut over the deadly mountain. Most people take the long way around, but it just so happens that there are 4 princes of different kingdoms here at this tavern now. Each of them has urgent business in Starlight City and needs to take the shortcut, however dangerous it might be. They'll need an escort to make it across. That's where I come in. I may not be great at planning, but I've got good instincts, a huge sword, and more than enough strength to use it. I can get a prince across that mountain with my eyes closed, I think. So, let's see. The 4 princes are... First is Falkner, the Prince of the Fae. I've heard a little about him. He's supposed to be all dashing and elegant, the perfect gentleman. But the Fae people are also supposed to be really tiny. I've never met one, but that's what I hear. How's he gonna handle crossing a treacherous mountain? I guess that's it. Well, I guess it's my job to figure that out. Next is Prince Elgandir of the Southern Kingdom. He's pretty young, like a little kid. The job posting came from his caretaker, who's traveling with him. I don't like to judge based on looks, but doesn't he look like a scruffy drifter? Should a guy like that really be taking care of a kid? I wonder what the story is there. He didn't even post his name. Third is Tyranny, Prince of Dragons, who is, well, it's kind of scary, but he's actually a real dragon. The job posting says he's a fire dragon, so he doesn't do well in cold weather. He has to take a human form to save energy, so he's really weak and needs a lot of help getting across the mountain. Oh, well, in that case, this shouldn't be too bad. And anyway, knights deal with dragons all the time, don't they? This should be a piece of cake. Finally, there's Prince Kuya of Moon Forest. To be honest, I'm more scared of him than the dragon. His kingdom is really isolated, so no one really knows what his people are like. But the stories say that they're all barbaric, fierce creatures, or hunters, with giant claws and fangs like wild beasts. Still, if he's here asking for help like anyone else, he can't be that bad, right? Okay, maybe there were more jobs than just these 4, but these guys seem super interesting to me. And by interesting, I mean hot. Look, don't judge me. I've been traveling alone for so long, and I've always dreamed of a fairy tale romance. It's not like I really expect anything to happen. I've never even had a boyfriend before. But maybe this time. Anyway, enough of this embarrassing stuff. I've got to hurry up and pick a prince already. Alright, we already did Little Prince Elgandir and his caretakers, so... I don't know. Kind of want to go with Falkner, Prince of Fae. I mean, don't at me, but like these older scruffy looking men. He's not scruffy, apparently he's quite dashing and elegant, but you know what I mean, like the older ones. We might have to go with that. Tyranny, very cute. I definitely will go for him. And I don't know what to expect from Kuya, but I think hilarity will ensue, given that Falkner is gonna romance me and is yet very, very tiny, apparently. So let's go with him. I gather my things and head down to the main hall to meet Prince Falkner. Almost at once I see him, standing on a banister near the entrance. I knew he was gonna be small, but wow, he can't be any larger than my hand. But he catches my eye right away, as if lit by a beacon of light. There's a lot of people here, most of them travelers, tired and worn out from the cold outside, slumped and inconspicuous. Prince Falkner, however, stands with his chest thrown out, his stance firm and bold. He looks proud, dignified, and despite his size, completely at home in his surroundings, like he walked right out of a portrait of some dashing hero from history. Is his sprite gonna be there the entire time? I low-key feel like I should move my little avatar, but I don't know, we'll see. And to think I thought he'd be hard to spot. Instead, I can't imagine noticing anyone else before him. He's too small and far off for me to see his expression, but I can tell he's seen me when he turns his face towards me and curtly nods. He gestures for me to approach, waving his arm in a large enough arc that he can be sure I'll see it from across the room, and I approach him slowly, still unsure. As I come closer, the details of his face come into focus. His features are sharp, smooth, and handsomer than I expected. His hard, clear eyes seem to stare straight through me. I had thought he might be intimidated by me and how big I am compared to him, but I'm the one who feels nervous. You must be Rosemary. Thank you for answering my ad. Oh, of course, and you're Prince Falkner, right? I am. Pleased to meet you. Forgive my appearance. I usually try to dress up when I meet someone new, but my time and supplies are short, so you'll have to suffer these drab travel clothes. That's okay, I think you look great. And I'm just wearing my regular armor, so... And what lovely armor it is. I look forward to traveling with you, Rosemary. Yeah, me too. We just stand there silently for a moment. It's just kind of weird to look at him, a full-grown man scaled down. This might sound rude, but it's hard to believe that he's real. I don't know what I expected, but it'll take some time getting used to. Not to mention the way he looks at me, with those sharp, commanding eyes. I can't explain why I get so nervous when he makes eye contact with me. I'm not usually like this. I feel so dumb for getting all tongue-tied, but for the moment, I just can't think of what to say. Well then, we're not going to be standing around here all day, I hope. Do you have everything you need? I'm ready to leave as soon as you are. Oh, sorry. Yes, of course, I'm ready. Very well. He clears his throat and adjusts his posture slightly, like he's psyching himself up to say something. I'll have to ride you for most of the journey. Sorry? On your shoulder. Not to worry, I don't weigh enough that you'd notice. It might be a bit awkward at first, but it's really the best way to do this. That's most of the reason I hired a guide in the first place. Oh, right. That's no problem. I stick my hand out at him, palm up. Falkner looks at it and his face falls, but only for a moment. He recovers quickly and gives me a hard smile. No, that's alright. Please, you don't... He waves his arms in a dismissive gesture. Oh, sorry. I'm not really sure what you want me to do here. You don't need to do anything. Right then. Quick, direct, and without apparent exertion, he leaps to my arm and begins to climb. It takes him 2 short, precise movements to arrive on my shoulder. All of a sudden, he's next to my face, and I'm staring right into his eyes, which I can see clearly for the first time. They're the same color as his hair, a rich, dark turquoise, like a gem. Just for future reference, you won't need to touch me with your hands at all. Actually, I must insist you don't. Understood? Yes, of course. I guess that's a thing for you? Sorry, I didn't know. What? Wanting to avoid being grasped by the waist by a stranger? I imagine that's a thing for everyone. I nod, but I'm not really listening. He's so close now, I can actually look at him. I was surprised to see such a small man, but now it's not really his height that makes me stare. He's just very handsome. He looks strong and sharp, and you can tell his clothes were made just for him because they accentuate him so well, like he was born in them. But it's not just his face or the way he dresses or even how he talks. It's the way he carries himself. He seems so comfortable and in control, even in a place where everything's too big for him. There's something magnetic about a person like that. I have a hard time taking my eyes off of him. Damn, she's fallen hard. And the other playthrough, like, okay, there was like a spark maybe, right? But she is noticing every little thing about Falkner. Honestly, I don't usually get all flustered like this. Maybe it's just because he's so close and it's making me feel weird. Of course, it's not polite to stare or a very smart thing to do, which I found out firsthand because while I'm staring transfixed at Falkner, I managed to run right into the door. Ow. There. Now, are you finished? Gosh, that hurt. Huh? Finished with what? Staring at me. If you're through, I'd like to press on. I'm not going to get any taller if that's what you're wondering. Oh, no. I mean, that wasn't... Tell him the real reason. Or better not say anything. If she's all nervous and tongue-tied, I low-key feel like she might be like, yo, you're more handsome than I expected. I kind of want to fuck up Rosemary's life right now. Let's tell her the real reason. It's not because of that. I guess I'd heard you were good looking, but I had no idea. I'm not used to seeing guys who are so, you know, hot. I mean, back home, some of the guys around town were cute, but not like, I'm gonna stop talking now. Oh, well, thank you very much. I do try to make myself decent, so it's nice to know my efforts aren't wasted. Look, see, he's happy with the compliment. Look at him. He don't mind. I bet he likes to hear he look good. He put in all this effort into his looks, got his clothes tailored, his mustache perfectly trimmed. Homie likes to hear that he look good. But just as I'm not going to get any taller, I'm not going to get any handsomer either. There's no beating perfection. Haha, just a little joke. Please, onward. Right, of course. Sorry about that. By the way, sometimes I just say stuff without really thinking. Don't let it bother you. Actually, I'm glad you're not too formal. It's a nice change. I'm so used to being surrounded by stuffy upper-class types who think prodigious vocabulary is indistinguishable from meaningful discourse. Ha! I'm trying not to stare anymore, but out of the corner of my eye, is he blushing? A little? Yes he is. Yes he is. I wouldn't have thought a guy like him was even capable of blushing. Maybe he's not as confident as he seems. No, honey. He's confident, but who don't like to hear that they look good? He liked to hear it. Well, I guess I don't know him that well enough to judge yet. This trip is going to be interesting either way. I do my best to push those thoughts out of my mind and head out the snowy trail, leaving the tavern behind us. I can feel him riding on my shoulder, but I'm very aware of his presence. It's going to take some getting used to, but it's probably weird for him too. I'll do my best to be polite and hopefully not make a fool out of myself anymore. That's hilarious. He has to grab onto her hair. As soon as we make it to the foot of the mountain, a blast of furious cold hits us all at once. The wind whips my hair back and I squeeze my eyes shut as tiny shards of ice sting my face. Whoa, Mount Needle sure knows how to say hello. Falkner stays quiet, but I can feel a faint tug on my hair. Look at that little blush! Oh my gosh. Why does he look so cute? It's such a cute expression, I can't. I realize he's holding on to steady himself. His deft hands tangled in my hair. I'm glad my face is already red from the cold. God, she is real thirsty for this mini man. Like, right off the bat, Rosemary, she's down bad today. But it's okay. Okay, listen. I'm seriously not trying to be rude or anything, but are you gonna be okay there? Like, with the wind and everything? Yes, it's alright. If it were necessary, I could make this trip by myself. I've made plenty of similar excursions in the past, and it never gave me much trouble. The sad fact of it is, however, that going solo would take much longer. The snow alone might add a full week to the journey. And in this case, time is of the essence. Oh yeah? What's the big hurry? Actually, yes, I'm getting married. Oh. Alright. Married. He's getting married? I know it's silly, but I feel oddly deflated. Well, that certainly is very, very important. You can't be late for your own wedding. That's one of the main things about getting married, I assume. Yes, I think you're right. We'd better make haste. There's something hard in his eyes as he says that, though, or am I just imagining it? Rosemary, you gotta save him from this loveless marriage. Either way, I'm sure it's none of my business. Once the prince is secure on my shoulder, I start walking. So, what's the Fae Kingdom like? Didn't your people invent the airship and stuff? How come you didn't take one of those to Starlight? We've invented a great many things. An airship indeed is what carried me to the tavern, but our ships aren't made for flying in harsh weather. The tavern was as far as they would bring me. After that, I had to arrange an alternative mode of transport. I kind of resent being reduced to a mode of transport, but it's alright. As I've said, I've done my fair share of hard travel in my life. This shouldn't be much different, even if I must partially rely on you. Hey, I'm not that bad. Am I? Oh no, of course not. It's just, try to understand. I look at you, and it's hard to imagine how such a huge... Oh lord. I look at you, and it's hard to imagine how such huge, thick legs and feet aren't just constantly tripping over themselves. I feel like that's not the sentence, Falkner. Like, it's not the move, but... Wow, he just came out and said that, didn't he? I like to think I have pretty thick skin. If someone doesn't know how I look, they can just go ahead and keep being wrong if they don't like how I look. I mean, you are thick, but he's saying it in a manner in which he's like surprised she isn't clumsy. And that is unacceptable. But with him, I feel like I just can't let it go. All right, we gonna clap back? That's totally ridiculous. When have you ever seen me trip over a thing? I suppose that's fair. You're rather steady on your feet. It's just that navigating a dangerous stretch of land, such as Mount Needle, it requires delicacy, finesse, a certain precise quality of movement which a person of your size simply cannot have. Your legs are like massive pillars, well suited to hold a slab of rock off the ground, but I wouldn't ask them to dance. He just keeps homing in on this point. What the heck? Falkner, I thought you were elegant and graceful in terms of like your speech, but you're kind of rude. You're kind of rude. You're not reading the room. Oh, like you're such a good dancer. Well, I'm not the best of the best, but I am classically trained. Oh, I don't care. What do you know anyway? I'm delicate. I'm precise. I'm graceful as anything. Oh, yes, of course. So much so that you walked into a door within 5 minutes of meeting me. He's not wrong. We did do that. I told you that was just because... Oh, never mind. Besides, that could happen to anyone. Who among us hasn't walked into a door? I have never once walked into a single thing that I did not intend to walk into. That's the first thing they teach you at the academy. He do look like he graceful. His mention of an academy stirs something in my memory. Yes, that's right. Some of the scholars I used to work for mentioned some big famous school in the Fae Kingdom. Oh, you mean the Lafada Academy, right? You went there? I've heard it's very prestigious. Or more accurately, snobby, but I'm not going to say that out loud. Guilty as charged. I'm impressed that you've heard of it. Oh, why? Because you think I'm too big and dumb to know what a school is? I never went to any fancy academy. I probably couldn't even get into yours. I'm trying to keep the resentment out of my tone without much success. Don't be silly. Of course you couldn't get into Lafada. Wow. Wow. Oh yeah? And why not? Only for Fae, perhaps? You'd never fit through the front door. Amazing. Huh, you got me. Yes, I've had that one in my pocket for a while. I take a small break from walking and lean against a tree. It's good to know he has a sense of humor, but I'm still not sure how I feel about how he talks to me. I steal a glance at him, and from the look on his face, he seems to have some idea of what I'm thinking. Rosemary, I do apologize if I've been rude. You may not believe this, but I don't take any pleasure in being so venomous. Then why are you doing it? No one asked you. I didn't say anything wrong. You were happy with my compliment. Like, I tell him he looks good, and he tells me my legs look like they can hold some slab of rock. Okay? Not in a complimentary way. So what's going on here? I've been feeling anxious lately. Not that it's any excuse. You're helping me, and I should be more appreciative. Apology accepted. I hope I wasn't rude either. Do you really think my legs look huge and gross? I'm not going to ask that, because he didn't say gross, he just said huge. We're going to go with apology accepted. I hope I wasn't rude either. Apology accepted. I hope I wasn't rude either. No, you have been very accommodating to me so far. I could hardly ask for more out of a companion. Thank you, Rosemary. You're welcome. I'm just trying to do my job, you know? Of course you are, and you're doing it well. I should certainly be more respectful and try not to pick at you. It's uncouth. It's just that, well, you must understand that from my perspective, you are rather large, so it doesn't always occur to me not to mention it. I don't mind you mentioning it, but you shouldn't make assumptions either. You wouldn't like it if I called you small all the time, would you? He smiles, but his eyes narrow. I can tell how much he hates it. So, what's it gonna be, Falkner? You gonna stop with that shit? As a reasonable person, I can understand why you might see me that way. But the fact is, I'm not small. I happen to be the ideal height for what I am. A perfect specimen of a fey gentleman, some would say. Well, I'm the perfect specimen of a Rosemary, then. He smiles at me again. This time, I can tell it's genuine. I certainly believe that. Point taken. So, I guess you're probably not used to people my size, huh? On the contrary, I deal with your kind often. I travel regularly on behalf of my kingdom. If a man truly loves his home, his duty is to leave it, so he should know its worth all the more by comparison. Taking that to heart, I visited every major city in the land. Well traveled. That's pretty impressive, actually. I mean, I don't know how big their land is, because there's, like, no map or anything like that, but there's 4 princes, so presumably at least 4 regions. And if they had to build an airship of all things, I imagine it takes a long time to travel across the land in general here. I'm not content to be some pampered prince sitting at home giving nothing back to the people who gave me everything. Though I do admit I've been handed many things on a silver platter. Enrollment at Lafada Academy, to name just one, a school which many of those less fortunate than I would have given anything to attend. I never forgot that fact. I always worked as hard as I could and excelled at all my studies. My skills are hard-earned, not simply the result of my impeccable breeding. I wanted to take full advantage of what I was given, and so, once I finished my education, I put those gifts to work in the service of my kingdom. I travel, meet diplomats, research, and engage in politics firsthand. I even serve in our volunteer army from time to time. Or for a time. Heh. It's okay, Falkner. I believe you work hard. You don't have to keep trying to convince me. Oh, pardon me. Was I rambling? I'll continue to work hard as long as I live. That's why I'm here now, on this mountain, this journey, with you. But you're crossing this mountain so you can get married, right? That's not exactly hard work. It's a blessing. That's what my folks say about marriage anyway. They've been married for like forever, so they're corny about that stuff. I'm sure they're right. But, Rosemary, may I be honest with you? In a way that may tarnish your spotless impression of me? Of course, Falkner. The truth is, my feelings about this marriage are mixed, to say the least. I mean, don't mistake me, I do feel excited. But then when I think about it for too long, I start to feel somewhat ill. And perhaps it's natural to be nervous. It goes without saying, but I've never done this before. Wow, really? You've never been with someone before? My dear, I most certainly have. Okay, Falkner. But that's neither here nor there. I bet in all his journeys, he'll maybe just be... He don't even gotta try. I bet people just, all the Fae women just fall at his feet. I've never been married. I'm not sure how to be a husband. There wasn't a class at Lafada Academy for that particular discipline. Let's think about this. Are you at least marrying for love? Yes, I believe I am. It took him a moment to answer. Did he really have to think about it? And there's that hard look in his eye again. And why should I feel sad talking about this? I barely know him, but I feel it all the same. Well, if you're sure, I know it will work out. If you're sure you have the right reasons, that's like a solid foundation and everything else will build on top of that. You may be right. You are singularly wise, Rosemary. Huh, no way. I just pick up stuff here and there. Do you really think so? Well, of course. How could I not? How about you? There must be someone special in your life? Oh, no. I've never had anything like that, actually. Ever since I left home, I've been trying to become a knight. It's busy work, and I don't stay in one place for too long, so I don't have a lot of opportunities to, meet people. I don't know if I want to come off too strong. We're gonna go with, but that's just fine. It will happen when it happens. I'm pretty happy with my life. Maybe some things could be better, but I'm mostly good. Well, that's all one can ask for, isn't it? Anymore, and you're just being greedy. Falkner, you seem kind of, I don't know, sad or something. You are happy to be getting married, aren't you? Of course I am. Who wouldn't be? Thank you for your concern, but please, put it out of your mind. It's none of my business how he feels, right? I mean, if he makes it my business, sure. Homie keeps bringing it up, then I guess it's my business. We're both happy to move on, so we keep walking. Or I do, at least. Falkner keeps writing. So far, Mount Needle hasn't lived up to its dangerous reputation, but I know anything could happen out here. I do my best to keep my guard up, and eventually we come to a path that splits. Okay, I've studied the trails. I'm pretty sure we should follow this lower path. It's the long way around, but it'll be much safer. Nonsense. If the high route is faster, that's the one we should take. But we'd be much more likely to run into dangerous creatures. Also, it'll be much colder up there. I mean, it's cold now, but it could be way worse. I don't want to argue about this. Don't you remember what I told you? Time is of the essence. Sure, but if we get attacked or the weather acts up, it'll end up slowing us down more, won't it? Listen, it's my job to keep you safe, so... not likely. You're here to be, well, for lack of a better term, my steed. This still just keeps getting worse and worse all the time. I'm responsible for you, so I'll be the one keeping you safe. Having said that, we shall do as I say. Oh, he wants to take charge. Okay, Falkner. I mean, are you gonna fight if some shit happens? What? If you even, take one step in the snow, you'll be up to your head, and if it keeps snowing, you'll never get out. Rosemary, what's the matter with you? What do you mean? I'm just stating the obvious. How could you possibly protect us? Forget it. Rosemary, I suggest you keep that gigantic mouth of yours shut. What the heck? What? What's that gigantic thing about? You think you're better than me because of my size or something? Not because of your size, no. I'm sure you'd be just as clumsy and dim-witted at half my height. Wow. I'm just trying to exist and live. And this man is just coming for me, why are you so rude, Falkner? Hey, I told you, I don't like it when you talk to me like that. That's too bad. Have you forgotten I'm the prince here? I can say what I like. You'll obey my command, and that's final. As I've said, should we come to any trouble, I will protect you. No, you won't. I'll protect you. I've had enough of this. We're taking the high path, and that's final. Onward. He gives a sharp tug on my hair, which hurts a lot more than I expected. Ow, hey, that is not okay. But we end up doing what he wants anyway. How is it possible that I'm getting bossed around by someone I could literally step on? I guess he's right. This is what he hired me for. There's nothing much I can do. I trudge on, feeling a little resentful. Just when I thought we were getting along better. Yeah, I feel like he has to be rude on purpose, right? He's trying to push me away. The trail is steady. There's snow and wind, but it hasn't gotten too harsh. Maybe this will be okay after all. Although it's a little hard to pay much attention to my surroundings. The first time we argued, we got over it pretty quickly. This time though, when we're not sulking, we're snapping at each other. You see, your worries were for nothing. I knew this path would be better. Next time it would do you well to listen. Alright already. Gosh, you're so loud for a little guy. Ah, how surprising. Another comment about my height. Have you no imagination? You know, I wouldn't be surprised if your brain were smaller than mine despite the size of your head. Wow. We're just going all in with the insults. Is that what you're so mad about? Look, I didn't mean little in a bad way, I only meant, but I don't get to tell him what I meant. I'm interrupted by a chilling sound that cuts through the air. I'm not gonna say that. Oh. Not to change the subject, but now I'm kind of worried about whatever that was. Behind you. Slowly, I turn around. Oh, great. 2 piercing eyes stare right at me. Okay, this should be easy though. Like, we have a sword. A wolf. No, wolves. Okay, that's worse. A whole pack of them. Fierce, fangs bared, their guttural growls rising in chorus. We're surrounded. See, what did I tell you about the high road? Now we gotta deal with the wolf attack. Perhaps you weren't entirely wrong. No shit. But not to worry, this sort of thing is well within my wheelhouse. No. I'm handling this. You got us into this mess, I'll get us out. We shouldn't waste any more time bickering. The pack is closing in on us and they look mean. Let's rush forward. We can't wait until they all attack us at once. That would be stupid, right? No time to lose. I've got a prince to protect. I draw my sword and leap at the biggest one. One quick flash of my blade and it's down. Rosemary, on your left. I've got it. Hold on tight. 2 more wolves come at me the instant I moved. One of them pounces, but I duck at just the right moment, and it goes sailing over me. One swift jab upward with my sword, and it's dead. No time to celebrate though. The other wolf comes at me, fangs bared. I roll to the side and hear the snap of its jaws closing on empty air. My sword arm moves in a fluid arc, neatly slicing off its head. Let's go, Rosemary. Okay, we got them skills. Ain't no wolves getting us. The rest of the pack are smart enough to take the hint. They turn tail and disappear into the mountain. Whew. Kind of a shame we have to kill them. I love dogs. Never mind that. Rosemary, I have to admit, that was some very fancy footwork. That's right, Falkner. Take your shit back. Like, I'm a fucking warrior. I know how to battle. Okay. Oh, Falkner, you don't have to say that. No, honestly, I had no idea you could move like that. Not with such a bulky Okay, here we go. And with such thick, clumsy fingers that barely look coordinated enough to... Hey, come on, enough already. I'm sorry. I really do mean to compliment you. What I'm trying to say is, you've got a good degree of grace and finesse after all. Leopard. Yes, I suppose you are rather like a leopard, supple yet powerful. No, I mean... He turns to look. A massive snow leopard slinks through the trees right for us. Maybe that's what the wolves were running away from. Before I even get a chance to think, the beast leaps at us. I swivel my shoulder trying to protect Falkner, but he slips away from me. His tiny form disappears almost instantly into the snow. No! In the second it takes me to cry out, the leopard is on me. My armor is the only thing that saves me from getting ripped to shreds by those vicious claws. I'm knocked into the snow, and it slinks towards me. Its eyes are on my face, which is open and unprotected. But just when I think I'm doomed, a bright, tiny flash, like an arrow, streaks under the leopard's neck. A spurt of blood follows. The leopard blinks. It doesn't know what happened to it, any more than I do. But after a moment, it falls. Pierced straight through the throat and killed almost instantly. What the... Over here. It takes me a moment to catch sight of him, but... There's Falkner, standing on a jetting boulder, looking grim and serious. He wipes the blood off of his small spear, which glitters like glass in the snowy sunlight. Once he's through, he exhales, wipes his brow, and winks. Falkner, that was incredible. You were so exact. One strike, and it was over. And to jump like that, so high and fast. You must be really strong. Like, seriously, really strong. I'm trained in combat, and I've seen enough to know of what I'm doing. There's nothing more to it than that. With one more graceful leap, Falkner returns to his place on my shoulder. Still, I'm very glad you appreciated it. I'm sorry I doubted you when you said you could protect me. You're obviously an amazing fighter. Well, it's clear to me now that the same goes for you. Once again, I find myself staring at Falkner a little too long. This time, though, he stares right back. Oh, okay. So you gotta have a little finesse. You gotta have a little grace for him to want to be with you. That spear of yours is pretty cool. Is it made of glass? Oh, it's a type of clear diamond, actually. A special product of the Fey Kingdom. We've found many uses for it. Would you like to see it? I take it gingerly. Even though it's like a toy spear in my hands, it's surprisingly heavy. Wow, it feels hefty, even to me. It must be hard to carry. No more so than your sword is for you, I'm sure. That thing is almost as big as you are. Yeah, I guess you're right. I had to train a long time before I could even lift it. There you are. If a weapon is not first a burden, then any fool could use it. You and I, Rosemary, are no fools. Anyway, this spear is another gift from my home, so I'm happy to carry it regardless of its weight. You know, my sword is kind of a special thing from my homeland, too. It's made from an alloy that northerners discovered a few hundred years ago. Really, I've never heard of that. Do explain. We spend the rest of the day walking on and chatting excitedly about swords and weapons. Although it's cold and harsh out here on the trail, I hardly notice it. Falkner isn't exactly shy, but I've never seen him so talkative. It's not until we notice that the sun has set that we realize we should stop. And anyway, for my money, a good halberd is... Oh, it's gotten dark. Should we stop and make for camp? Make camp for the night? Yes, that's a good idea. I had no idea how late it was. You know, this was nice. It really was. I haven't had good shop talk like that since my academy days. And I've never really talked to anyone like that. Ever. I've never known anyone who was interested in swords and stuff. Not the same way I was. I guess I didn't realize how lonely it was until now. Yes, I know what you mean. It doesn't take long to make camp in a nearby cave. We settle in and rest by the firelight. I'd say the journey is going pretty well so far, give or take a wolf attack or two. I quite agree. You know, I've been working hard. You've been working hard all day, carrying me, slaying beasts. Why don't you sit back and let me make you some dinner? What are you gonna make me, Falkner? Sure, that sounds good, but I only bought rations, like dried meat and stuff. I don't know what you could make from that. Rosemary, Rosemary, Rosemary. Do you take me for some ill-prepared dullard, wandering around without the makings for fine cuisine always close at hand? Are you saying you've been carrying around ingredients for a fancy dinner this whole time? Always. Here, sit back, my dear. Allow me to take you on a culinary journey. I'm not picky, but sure, whatever you say. Falkner immediately gets to work. From his pack, he pulls some small strips of what looks like some smoked fish, a clove of garlic, which he has to grab with both arms, and some other ingredients in small jars that have been diced into incredibly fine powder. He uses his spear to cut up the garlic, and I realize that preparing ingredients must be really hard work for Fey people like him. Still, the work goes quickly, and from how confident and at ease he is, it seems like he enjoys cooking and does it often. I guess this is why people never think of Falkner as pompous. It's not a facade he's putting on, he's got the skill to back up his attitude. Soon, he presents me with a small tray of food. Even though it's tiny, it looks delicious. Smoked Fey minnow with ginger and garlic. It's a staple in the palace. You'll love it. Although for you, I suppose it's more of a sampling than a meal. I do apologize, I didn't think I'd be cooking for anyone but myself. That's okay, I'm sure it'll be delicious. Bottoms up. Without wasting a second, I grab the plate in my fingers and shove the food in my mouth. Falkner looks slightly aghast. Oh my gosh, that's so good. I can't believe you just made that. And you can make it whenever you want and eat it all the time. You're so lucky. Rosemary, you just swallowed the whole meal in one go. Oh, yeah. Sorry, was that bad manners? They were really delicious though. And am I crazy or did I taste a hint of lemon? Oh, you noticed that. Yes, that's my personal twist on the classic dish. It complements the Fey minnow's natural, rosemary. Are you alright? It's only when he says something that I realize I've started crying. Hastily, I try to wipe away my tears. What are you crying about, Rosemary? 'Cause there's no more food? Goodness, I don't know what's wrong with me. This is so embarrassing. Sniff. I'm sorry, Falkner. Please ignore me. My cooking wasn't that bad, was it? No, that's not the problem. It was really good. Too good. I haven't had a meal cooked for me since I've been home. My mother used to go fishing and fry up what she caught for us, with salt and a twist of lemon. I guess tasting this, it brought up some strong memories. Falkner comes close and hops onto my pack, so he's high enough to put his hand on my arm. Even though he's so small, his touch is surprisingly warm. It's very soothing. Haha, sniff. Thanks for being sweet to me. I'm sorry, I don't really cry very often. You miss your home. It's understandable. I miss mine too. How long have you been away? A long time. I left to become a knight. I don't want to give up, not ever. This is more important to me than anything. But sometimes I just miss my family so much. And I can't help but daydream about what it would be like to just go home. I can't do that though, not until I can make them proud. Not until I can make myself proud. I'm just stubborn like that, I guess. You're not stubborn, you're passionate, you're determined. It's admirable. For whatever it's worth, I'm already proud of you. It takes a stout heart to make a sacrifice for something worthwhile. I'm glad you think so. You know, I think it's a good sign that your cooking made me cry. It means the taste of it went straight to my heart. You're a great chef. Falkner smiles but looks away and runs a hand through his hair. He chuckles low under his breath, the way you do when you're not happy about something, but have to laugh at it anyway. Falkner, is something the matter? It's just that I'm cooking for you and talking to you about your feelings, your hopes and regrets, your dreams. I suppose this must be what it's like to have a wife. I could get used to it if she were like... He doesn't finish the thought, but casts me a meaningful glance. Okay. He's saying he hoped marriage is like the time he spent with me. Sorry, I'm taking a sip of my sparkling water real quick. Is he saying that he wants his wife to be like me? I feel a little rush of excitement and a twinge of guilt. I bet you'll be happy to see your fiancée again once this is all over. Actually, Rosemary, I've never met her. What do you mean? It's purely political marriage. Then why did you say you were doing it for love? Love for your country, maybe? I decided our union would be the best course of action for my kingdom. I sent her a letter declaring my intentions a month ago, and she agreed. I have no idea what kind of person she is or how I'll feel about her. All I know about her is that she's fey like myself and wealthy. Other than that, my bride is a stranger to me. Oh, I didn't know that. I feel a strange fluttering in my chest, at once dizzy, and at the same time, light and free. So you're not really, you're not in love with someone else, or anyone, No. In fact, until I reached the city, I suppose you could say I'm unattached. Okay. That's interesting. My face is red again, but since we're warmed by the fire, there's no blaming it on the cold this time. You must really love your kingdom, huh? Yes, I do. My kingdom, my people, they've given me everything. Not just the academy or the royal family, the kingdom itself, my home. Our cities are so beautiful and unique. Standing amongst the buildings, you can't truly be unhappy. It elevates everything, even what's inside you. And since the other kingdoms are so big and made the world in their image, we had to make our own world by ourselves. It's all ours, only ours, and it's perfect, and I couldn't be more proud. At home, I wake up at the crack of dawn just to see our buildings bathed in sunlight. I've seen a lot of this world, and there's nothing in it more beautiful than that. It makes my heart ache that I can't share it with everyone. I would have liked to share it with you, perhaps. Oh, I could come see it, couldn't I? I suppose you could visit, but I could never see it like you do. No, you never could. Well, maybe I could see a piece of it. What do you mean? Show me something you've learned there. Something from the Lafada Academy, maybe. Then it's kind of like I'm seeing a little part of your kingdom, isn't it? You said you were classically trained in dance, right? I suppose I could dance for you. I'd love to see that. What's with that mocking tone of voice? I assure you my dance is quite beautiful. Shall I? He stands and gets into a graceful position. Wait, not like that. I can hardly see you from all the way down there. Do you have a better idea? I could hold you. Rosemary, this man said earlier he does not want to be held. If you were in my hands, I could see you up close. I don't know. Oh, geez. I mean, clearly they're both interested. And I'm trying to let my girl Rosemary get what she needs and what she wants. So I'll go with it's not so bad to be touched by me because they already feeling each other. We might as well just get the ball rolling. No, in fact, it might be nice. That's right. I know. So I crouch and extend my cupped hands. My face is calm, but my heart is pounding. He steps onto my palm and feels light but solid. Very slowly, I bring my hands up to my face. I'm looking at him right in the eye in a way that was hard to do before. I can see all of him now, closer than ever. Forgive me, I might be out of practice. It's been years since I learned this. He stands with his arm and leg in a graceful curve. I wait patiently for him to start. He's so close, and I have an excuse to stare at him this time, so I'm going to take advantage of that. After a few moments, he still hasn't started dancing. Actually, he looks kind of troubled. Is everything okay? It's just, I feel rather foolish doing this on my own. This should be a couple's dance. I wish I could take you up in my arms and really show it to you. Oh. Yeah, that would be good. And anyway, I find myself distracted. By what, my beautiful ass face? Forgive me, but I can feel your warmth all around me, rather like being embraced. And your face is so close, it's hard to think about anything else. He's staring right at me now. No wonder I'm distracting him. My face must look so huge. I wonder if it's strange or sort of scary. Rosemary, you are so beautiful. You talked all that shit about me up the mountain, and then you're gonna call me beautiful. Oh. He steps closer to my face. At once, I feel very awake and intense, open to notice every detail and feel every touch. What about my dance? Oh, who cares about that? Oh, he's forward. Oh, shit. Ah! He comes closer and closer. I feel small hands on my cheek and then my mouth. His fingertips brush my lips softly and slowly. Alright. I can't help but shiver. I had no idea I'd be so sensitive there. Those tiny fingers are so light, and the way they touch me with such finesse. Okay, he got the finesse, he got the touch. I've never felt anything like it before. And then I feel his mouth. He presses his lips all over mine, slowly and deliberately, moving from one spot to the next. I feel the pleasant brush of his mustache, his teeth. Oh, gentle yet urgent. Urgent for what? Falkner, we haven't talked about this. It's the strangest kiss I've ever had. It's the only kiss I've ever had, in fact. But I can't imagine wanting anything different, anything more. I'm sorry if that was untoward. I couldn't help myself. I'm glad you couldn't. I want to stay awake, but I'm so exhausted from the journey today. I can tell Falkner's tired too. I get comfortable on the floor and pull a blanket over myself. I wait for Falkner to get his bedding ready, but he doesn't move. Instead, he pulls gently on my fingers, wrapping them around himself. He wants me to hold him tonight. I hold him to my chest so he'll be warm, and we fall asleep like that together. That's sweet. We set out early the next morning. For the first few hours, we don't say much. There's a beautiful sunrise, and it's snowing, but not too heavily. Falkner rides his usual place on my shoulder. I wonder if I should bring up what happened last night. It was so nice, so unexpected. I hate thinking that it has to be over so soon. I want more and more nights like that. I want to keep learning about him and being surprised by him. I want him to learn about me too. But he's getting married. There's no way around that, unless he decides. No, there's no point in thinking like that. I'll just get my hopes up. Just as I decide that it's better to not say anything, Falkner breaks the silence. Rosemary, I think I like you very much. And I hope you'll forgive me for being so direct, but do you feel the same way about me? I mean, he was a jerk at first, but what's more true is that she had a crush on him from the first moment. Really? I'm not quite sure I deserve that. I behaved as if you were some kind of thoughtless oaf. Or, I mean, I don't think that anymore, but hopefully that should be obvious. Damn, I'm making a mess of this, aren't I? Calm down, you're doing fine. It's kind of cute to see you all worried about me, though. I'm just the slightest bit out of practice when it comes to talking about these matters. I don't want to speak at all if I'll only say the wrong things. Even if you do mess up, it'll be okay. Trust me. I mess up all the time. I'm kind of an expert. Well, far be it from me to ignore the expert's advice. I'm struggling with how to say this. I suppose I'll just jump right into it. I've been with many women in my life, but it's never felt like this. I felt as though a window has opened in a room that's been closed for a long time. I'm not saying I'm in love with you. That would be rather forward, considering we've only just met. But you're the first person whom I've ever felt, I don't know how to describe it, giddy? Hopeful? When I fell asleep last night, the only thing I could think about was how much the prospect of another day with you excited me. You're the first person I've ever wanted to fall in love with. That is a very sweet line. You're the first person I've ever wanted to fall in love with. Okay. My heart feels like a bird fluttering around in my chest. There's something so wonderfully scary about hearing someone say the very thing you hoped they would. Like you're afraid you'll wake up and find out it was just a dream. Gosh, Falkner, I don't know what to say. But you must understand, I never thought I would feel this. I thought I wasn't the kind of man who would ever fall in love. And it's because I thought of myself that way that I even entertained the idea of a political marriage in the first place. If I knew I'd never marry for myself, why not marry for my kingdom? But now I just wish I'd met you first. Then again, if I'd never made this journey, I wouldn't have met you at all. Damn it to hell. But if you feel differently now, I mean, I'm not saying you should leave her and marry me instead, but maybe you could slow things down and we could just spend more time together and, like, see how things go. That would be okay, wouldn't it? He looks at me with such longing. It takes him a moment to gather his thoughts and speak. Rosemary, I can't make that choice anymore. I need to tell you something I haven't told anyone. I believe if I do, you understand. Okay. My heart starts beating faster. I don't like the sound of this. A few years ago, my father let me look... Oh, of course you're broke. My father let me look at the Fey Kingdom's finances. The royal family, the entire kingdom, were going bankrupt. We can't easily participate in global trade. How can we benefit from goods that are too gigantic for us to use? And we invest so much in the brilliant minds of our scholars and inventors. We build airships and factories and all manner of amazing things. But we see almost no profit because the rest of the world is just too big. Our greatest innovations are like children's toys in their hands. That's unfortunate. Falkner, that's awful. You and your people deserve more than that. It's just one of many problems. For example, only Fae are able to live in our kingdom. It's too small for anyone else. For all we spend to make our city so beautiful and so advanced, we can't even benefit from tourism. Fae families keep leaving to seek their fortunes elsewhere, but there's no immigration, no new blood. Nothing to replace the ones who leave. Our people only have two options, stagnate or dwindle. We have dwindled. Slowly and gradually, our population, our resources, in a handful of generations will have nothing. Oh wow, I had no idea. No, we don't like to share our weaknesses if we can help it. Sometimes we don't even like to admit them to ourselves. But I don't get it. How can one marriage possibly fix a problem that big? It's simple. So perfect, I thought myself a brilliant forward thinker for devising this scheme. Now I almost wish I never had. I'll try to explain. As you're probably aware, not all Fae people live in our kingdom. A good many families left to live in the other kingdoms with the rest of you. And many of those wayward families have thrived, financially. However, I believe they suffer in a different way. The Fae kingdom turns its back on them as traitors and deserters. They lose touch with their home, their culture, their history. They must struggle every day to exist in a world that was never made for them. Even when they succeed, they are always suffering, always too small. And because they are, in essence, exiled, they can never go home to where they belong. But these wayward fae are still my people. I know they are. The woman I've been in contact with is the daughter of a particularly wealthy fae family, one that has lived in exile in the southern kingdoms for centuries. Her family's riches alone would be enough to keep the royal family thriving for generations. I'm starting to see where this is going, but that doesn't make it any easier. Our union would not only solve the Fae Kingdom's financial problems temporarily, I believe it would also help address the problem in the long term. My bride-to-be is quite well known, even among those in the kingdom who reject outsiders. And I, of course, am the prince. We represent two halves of the Fae. Our marriage would be seen as a symbol of unity. The Fae are one people, no matter where we live or what we do. The kingdom need not turn its back on those who left, and can welcome their experiences and prosperity. The wayward Fae need not lose their connection to their history, their culture, their people. In fact, we might even encourage them more to adventure out and make their fortune, knowing they can always return. I can bring the Fae together in a way that lasts. We need never be estranged and impoverished again. But why does it have to be you that does this? Couldn't it be someone else? Rosemary, I am the only son of the king and the queen. And even if that weren't the case, I've known nothing but happiness and success my entire life. But I know that everything I have, everything I am, my people gave to me, which means my life is not truly mine. I owe it to them. I do marry out of love, but not for a woman I've never met. I love my kingdom, and I must save it, or how else can I stand to live? Do you understand? Of course I do. I knew you would. You care so deeply about what you love. We're the same in that regard. If you were to lose your home, or if you found out you could never be a knight, you'd never give that up for me, would you? And this one's a hard one. I mean, I probably would not give up my dreams for someone. Oh, it matters. I can't say it doesn't matter because I feel like I'm gonna get a bad ending on this one. No, you're right. I'd never give up being a knight. Of course you're right. I want to be a knight more than anything. I want to do some good in this world, but in this case, it doesn't feel good to be good. I wish I could just be selfish this time. Just do what I want and let everyone else worry about themselves. I wish I could too, but I can't. Neither of us can. You wouldn't think so to look at us, but we're very much alike. I guess we are. That's sort of comforting, in a way. I feel his hand on my cheek, his kiss like a little drop of rain, so small and soft you're not even sure it was real. I'm going to miss that. We keep walking a little longer. I guess there's not much to say after that. And soon, sooner than either of us expected, we can see Starlight City way off in the distance. It's so beautiful, glittering like a little pile of jewels off in the horizon. I hate it. Looks like we made it there by nightfall. That didn't take long. Mount Needle hasn't really lived up to its dangerous reputation, has it? It certainly has it. I almost wish we have a bear attack or something, just so we could stay a bit longer. We wait there a moment, listening to the wind, almost hoping for some feral growl to echo in the trees. Of course, nothing happens, and everything is perfectly fine. Nothing's ever there when you need it, is it? You know, the weather is looking a little rough. Maybe we should make camp early. To be safe, of course. Yes, I think you're right. The snow could get much worse at any moment. We don't want to tempt fate, do we? The weather is absolutely fine. We're lying to ourselves, and we know it. Just so we can have one more night together. But if one night is all we're going to get, I'll take it. It doesn't take long to set up camp in a nearby cave. In fact, the sun is still up by the time we're done. I feel a little guilty about it, knowing Falkner's bride-to-be is waiting for him. But not that guilty. We eat dinner together, me sitting with my legs folded and him perched on my thigh. It's kind of nice having you sit there. Blushing already, are you? It's quite becoming. No, okay, maybe I'm blushing a little. I mean, you're touching my thigh. That's so intimate. Rosemary, my dear, please don't be offended by my asking, but have you ever been with anyone? Remember you said you haven't been in love with anyone, but have you been, as you put it, intimate? No, Falkner, I have not. What makes you ask that? Oh Lord. I mean, I can't be surprised because I know what we were retiring to this cave to do. But my Kokoro right now, he softly rubs his hand against my skin. Even though his hand is so small, his touch feels electric. Well, if you see this as the height of intimacy, it occurs to me that we can do much better than that. What you got in mind, Falkner? I blush a lot stronger when I hear him say that, which was probably his intention, but my heart also sinks a little, thinking about our situation. Maybe it's for the best that we can't keep seeing each other. Shut up, Rosemary. Goodness, Rosemary, I didn't mean to pressure you. We don't have to do anything. I just thought, since it's our last date together. Of course I want to, do things. Gosh, I can't believe I just said that out loud. We knew what we came to this cave to do. But what can we even do? I mean, I'm so big and you're so... We just don't match up, Don't be silly. Our difference in size was never the problem. Didn't I tell you, dear? I haven't been in love before, but I've been with many women. Not all of them were Fae. Oh. Damn. Falkner's been around the block. I'm not so close-minded as that. You've been with women my size? Many times, yes. Well, perhaps none so muscular. Gosh, but that means you figured out how to make it work. I mean, it was good for both of you. Listen, dear, I'm not one to kiss and tell. I do try to be a gentleman, however unsuccessful my attempts may be. Having said that, let me assure you, I have never once sent away a woman unsatisfied. Damn. I'm really curious about how this works. I want to ask questions, but I feel I should not ask these questions out loud. There's a great number of things I could do with you. I can't really imagine. I'd be happy to demonstrate. Yes. Yes, please. Sometime later, we lie down together and Falkner falls asleep on my chest. Look, she looks so fucking... She looks so shook. Like her whole universe has come crashing down. She's never going to be the same again. She let this small Fae man put it down on her, and now? Now what, Rosemary? What comes after this? I'm genuinely curious. I stay awake a little longer. I just can't stop thinking about what we did together. It was nothing like I expected, and more amazing than I'd hoped. How to even describe it? I don't know where to start. Let's just say, after that, I'm even sadder that I won't get to be with him anymore. But I'm also happier than ever that I met him in the first place. When I do drift off to sleep, I doze peacefully. That is, until I'm woken up by a small figure shaking me awake before sunrise. Rosemary, wake up. 5 more minutes. Come now, we don't have all day. Wake up. I open my eyes to see him standing on my chest, jetting his face into mine. Alright, I'm awake. Last night was really special, by the way. Well, yes, that goes without saying, but we need to get going now. Are you that excited to get married? Quite the opposite. I decided this is all so silly. I've found someone I want to be with. I'm not going to throw that away over what? My pride? Sticking to some foolish decision I made months ago? Oh, okay. No, nonsense. So, come on, we're going back over the mountain the way we came. I've got plenty of supplies, and we know that together, we can handle anything this dreadful place throws at us. I know we can make it back, and I'm not getting married to some stranger when I'm in love with you. You know what, Falkner? That's some good shit. You really thought about that. Love? You love? Wow. Falkner, I think I feel the same way. But we can still go to Starlight City. You can tell them the wedding's off once you get there. There's really no point in going back the way we came. My dear, it's symbolic. For goodness sake, you don't have any flair for the dramatic? Hee hee. I like when you call me dear. But of course you're right, as you usually are. Let's hurry and get going. Regardless, I don't want to wait any longer to tell them I'm in love. And so we gather up our things and rush out towards the city. I can't ever remember feeling so light and giddy. Running through the snow together, watching the sun rise and turn the sky pink. He reaches to brush a snowflake off my cheek, and I tremble a little at how close he is. His body gives off so much warmth, even though he's so small. It doesn't take long before the trees thin out, the air starts to warm, and we find a road. It's the path that will take us straight to the heart of the city. Here we are. This is it. It sure is. Staring down at that road, I feel like I can see our future unfold before us. Falkner, however, is oddly quiet. I know we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. I mean, we've got to get to know each other first. But it would be kind of nice to live together, here together, someday. The city is so beautiful, right? I can picture us in a little house by the park. Falkner, did you hear me? I don't know. Rosemary. I'm sorry. What? You just... Okay. You literally just woke me up, said you weren't gonna marry this bitch and that you were in love with me, and now you're changing your mind. Which one is it? You mean living by the park? Well, I'm not married to the idea. Don't be foolish. You know that's not what I meant. His voice is suddenly so cold, it shocks me into silence for a moment. I feel like I've been slapped in the face. That's just great. I'm sorry, but this can't be what you really want. You only just met me. Whatever feelings we have are just a rush of infatuation, right? Well, maybe, but isn't that how real feelings start? I want to see where it takes us. You don't have to worry, Falkner. I want this as much as you do. Falkner? Come on, Rosemary. I'm trying to make this easier. What? But you were just saying before that you, what are you talking about? Are you really going to make me say it out loud? In that moment, my heart sinks into my stomach. The look on his face is so empty and sad. I know that I've lost. I can't really be with you. It was stupid of me to imagine I could, even for a moment. When I saw the city on the horizon again, I remember the promise I made to my people. I can't break that promise. To do that would be throwing away everything I care about. But don't you care about me? I care about you. I know you do. I just can't. I can't care about you. I can't afford to care about you. I don't want to hear anymore. I almost start to cry right there, but I won't give him the satisfaction. You don't have to jerk me around like that. You didn't have to give me hope and then yank it away again. I know. I'm a fool. You see, I got carried away in the moment and I just ended up hurting you more. That's why I have to stop being impulsive and do what's right. Honestly, though, there was no way we were ever going to do this, neither of us. It was just a nice dream to pretend to believe in for a moment. It didn't feel that way. I thought it was real. I guess I really am just some big dumb oaf if I was stupid enough to believe that. You said you loved me. You're the first person to ever say that to me. Was it not true? I love my kingdom. That's all. Oh, Falkner. And just like that, it's over. We walk down the path in cold silence. Once we're in the city, I let him kiss me softly one last time. I let him down onto the road and we go our separate ways. Because he's so small, it doesn't take him long for him to disappear into the crowd. And as he does, it all hits me at once, like a weight on my chest I can't get off. I sit in the middle of the town square and cry. Great. Thanks, Falkner. Is this the bad ending? It isn't quite accurate to say I'll never see him again. For one thing, he'll become a king and I'll see his coronation, but more importantly, in the years to come, Falkner's plan will work out exactly the way he knew it would. I'll see his face I'll see his face in portraits everywhere, a symbol of hope and progress, known across the land. The face of the man who united the Fae, together with his queen, brought his people to a new age of prosperity. As for me, I become a knight. I get to do all kinds of amazing things. But I'll never forget Falkner or the time we shared together. As the years go by, even the hurt I feel fades away. In the end, I'm proud of him for doing what he did. It was the right thing, after all. Our time together was just a tiny chapter in the great book of his life. Why should he have thrown everything away over someone like me? Still, I'd be lying if I said I never wished it were different. I feel an ache inside whenever I still hear his name. I'd never again carry him on my shoulder, but I always carry his memory in my heart. I can only hope he does the same with me. He said he didn't really love me. Maybe I'm naive, but I never believed him. That's just great. I got the bad ending. Wonderful. I think we're gonna run this back real quick and see if I can speed through to the good ending. Because I am unsatisfied with that. Maybe I feel like I know what choice I should have made. Earlier, there was a thing where he was talking about you wouldn't give that up, like being a knight, for me, would you? And I think I should have said, yes, I would. Or like the unsure version of that. Okay, we not about to let this lie. Let's try one more time. We're gonna speed through this. Falkner. I'm gonna tell him the real reason. Maybe coming on strong isn't the bad thing to do. Huh. But we are gonna try this one. Do you really think my legs look huge and gross? I didn't say they looked gross, did I? That doesn't sound like me. I mean, you must admit they are rather large from my perspective, so... That is to say, you have very nice legs. Oh, thank you. Oh, thanks. Your legs are good too. Gosh, I just said that without thinking. I didn't mean to be weird or anything. I mean, not that your legs aren't good, of course they are. It's quite alright, but let's move on from the topic of our respectively wonderful legs, shall we? Okay, sorry for being like this. Usually I try not to let this stuff bother me. Well, I admit I was unduly... I don't know how to say this word. Acerbic? Ungentlemanly, even. And not that it should matter what I think, but if I call you large, it's only in comparison to what I'm used to. And regardless, I'm rather fond... Oh, we've learned some new information. Okay. He likes the human women. I guess it doesn't have to be human. He likes not-fey women. That's cool. I've only met one so far, but small guys aren't so bad either. So I guess you're probably not used to people my size, huh? Alright. Alright, we're gonna lay it on thick this time. Actually, I was kind of excited to meet you. I guess that's pretty silly to admit. I mean, for one thing, you're a prince and I'm just some girl who isn't even a real knight yet. Not to mention how small you are. Like, no offense, but it couldn't really work, could it? Oh, I don't know about that. If I weren't engaged to be married, I might. Oh, right. The married thing. Gosh, I really shouldn't be saying this stuff to you, like, at all. Sorry I interrupted. What were you gonna say? It's not important. You're absolutely right, of course. I'm engaged, so never mind. Although, just for the sake of correcting misinformation, relationships between people of your size and mine are very much possible. I happen to know firsthand. Really? They are? We could, I mean, hypothetically. But, how would that even work, though? Oh, for goodness sake, use your imagination. It isn't so hard to figure it out. I don't want to say what I'm imagining. It's pretty rude. Let's consider this subject. Look at his little blush. That is adorable. Let's consider this subject dropped, shall we? We're both happy. Okay, we've read that. I'm pretty happy with my rush forward decisions, so we're just gonna go with that. Should I lie on the floor? I mean, one of them leads to a kiss. We'll try this one, though, because if I fuck up, I can just go back. Oh, well, you don't have to. Or, that is, if you don't mind. Carefully, I lay on my stomach on the ground. I'm on a blanket, so it's pretty comfortable. I rest my head on my hands, and I find myself gazing level with Falkner. Forgive me, I might be out of practice. It's been years since I've learned this. He stands with his arm and leg in a graceful curve. I wait patiently for him to start. He's so close, and I have an excuse to stare at him this time, so I'm going to take advantage of that. After a few moments, he still hasn't started to dance. Actually, he looks kind of troubled. Is everything okay? It's just, I feel rather foolish doing this on my own. This is going to be stuff that... Forgive me, but I can feel... Okay, we've seen this. Okay, it's the same. Okay, I've had a crush on you. Okay, I think this is the moment that actually matters. We're gonna lie. We're gonna say, I don't know if that matters so much anymore. I mean, of course I'll always want to be a knight, but not if it means I can't be happy. Rosemary, don't say silly things. Such silly things. Of course you can be happy without me. I know, it just doesn't feel that way. Not right now. Sadly, I know what you mean. It's funny, I only just met you, but I hate the idea that I can't see you anymore. That this is all we get. It's so unfair. We should be at the beginning, not the end. Are you sure we can't forget the consequences and do whatever we want? I mean, who's going to stop us? I'm not serious, of course, and Falkner knows it as well as I do. I feel his hand on my cheek. Okay, we've read this. Maybe in another life. We keep walking a little bit longer. I guess there's not much to say after that. Alright, so we do some things in the cave that aren't described, but... Staring down that road, I realized something very clearly for the first time. I love Falkner. I mean, I really love him. Only met him a few days ago. Call it puppy love if you want, but I know how I feel. And I know how he feels too. I know he doesn't really want this. He wants me, but he doesn't want everything that comes with that. I can see it in his eyes. He's already scared. He thinks he's made a choice, but the truth is he can't choose. I'll have to choose for him. There's a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach as I realize what I have to do. But if I really care about him, I can't let him do this. It would hurt him too much, and I can't hurt someone I love. Falkner. Yes, my dear. I can't do this. What do you mean? This is just too sudden. I can't be with you. I'm supposed to be traveling the world and trying to become a knight. I need to be free to do that. I could go with you. I'm a prince. I can do whatever I like. Well, that's another thing. You're a prince, and I'm just a farm girl. And we're too different in a lot of other ways. It just wouldn't work. We have to be realistic. Rosemary, you know damn well that's not a real reason. What are you doing? You're a terrible liar, you know. He saw right through me. Of course he did. The truth is, I can't ask him to betray his people. I'd never forgive him. I mean, myself. It's too selfish, too impulsive, too thoughtless. And I know that Falkner would always regret it. He loves his kingdom. He'd do anything for them. I can't let him run away with me and leave his duty behind. That's just not who he is. And it's not who I am either. Falkner, please don't make me say it. You know why we can't. Yes, I suppose I do. For goodness sake, what was I thinking? there'd be even more of a rift between my people if I ran off for selfish reasons. To think I was ready to throw my whole kingdom away, and for what? For, you know, I still think it might be worth it. Falkner, we can't. Thank you for being the one to say it. It must have been hard. It was. It was really hard. I care about you, Falkner. I care about you too, and I want you to know one thing. When I'm married, I'll always think of you and the time we spent together. Even if I fall in love with her, I'll keep you in my heart too. You were my first love, and that will never change. And just like that, it's over. I would say that my hopes were dashed, but the truth is I never really believed we were going to run away together. It was just a nice dream we let ourselves share, if only for a little while. Once we're in the city, he kisses me softly one last time. I let him down onto the road and we go our separate ways. Oh. As soon as he does, it hits me all at once, like a weight. Okay, we've read this. She cries. See the coronation. His plan works. Portraits. Brought the people together. Become a knight. But my most heroic deed, I have to keep a secret. That once upon a time, I saved the king of the Fae from throwing away his kingdom. Man. I mean, when it's framed that way, it's better. But, like, what the heck? So Falkner, I just can't be with Falkner. When I saw him at his coronation, I didn't say hello. I was deep in the crowd, and he was up on his podium, so I couldn't even see his face. Still, maybe I was just imagining it, but I could swear I felt his eyes on me. I hope he knew I was looking too. Though I never again carry him on my shoulder, I always carry his memory in my heart. Just like I know he does with me. Wow. So it's just sad all around. Why was I under the impression that all routes had a happy ending? I mean, I got an achievement right there that you didn't see pop up on my screen that said, like, part with Falkner with dignity. So I'm guessing that's the good way. And the other way was just him hurting my feelings and me, like, fucking off and being sad about it. I mean, it's realistic. But, I think I liked the Elgandir's caretaker route way more. Alright, well, that was the Falkner route. At some point, I'll do the Kuya and also the, I forgot the dragon's name, but I'll do him too at some point. Alright, well, that's that, and see y'all next time.